3 years ago, I had exactly $1,000, and no, I didn't live in a fancy apartment or have a six-figure job. I lived in a rented room, ate instant noodles 3 times a week, and my bank account was consistently under $200 after paying for electricity, rent, and living. I knew nothing about investing. All I knew was this: backhand index pointing right. If I didn't start doing something with this small amount of money, I would be stuck in the same loop forever, making money, spending it, and starting over again. And so, I decided to try. I didn't bet. I didn't go all in on coins or meme stocks. I took the other route, the incredibly boring, incredibly slow, but surprisingly effective one. 3 years later, I looked back at my investment account, and that money, just $1,000, had turned into $4,200. No magic, no luck, just a little strategy, over and over again. And today, I'm going to tell you the whole story. Why most people never turn $1,000 into $4,200. I'll be honest, the number of people who can invest and keep their money for 3 years is much lower than you think, and it's not because they're not smart, it's because they fall into the same psychological traps that almost everyone has fallen into, including me. Crossmark 1. People think you have to be rich to invest. Have you ever heard this? I only have $100. Why bother investing? I used to think exactly the same thing, but here's the truth: no one gets rich before investing. They invest before getting rich. It's not about the amount of money, it's about the mindset of accumulation, and you can never build a house without starting from the first brick. Crossmark 2. Waiting for the perfect moment to start. Some people say, I'm waiting for the market to stabilize. I'm waiting for interest rates to drop. I'm waiting for the bonus next month and then I'll invest. You know what happens? They wait. And wait. And wait. 3 years later, my $1,000 investment has grown to $4,200, and they are still waiting. Crossmark 3. Following the trend, investing because of FOMO. Have you ever seen this? Someone on TikTok says, this stock will definitely double. A KOL says, I put all my money into crypto XYZ, you should too. And so everyone rushes in, no understanding, no plan, no exit, only one thing: emotion. And then when the market turns red, panic, sell off, lose, give up. This scenario repeats itself millions of times. Crossmark 4. Lack of patience. Want to get rich quick? This is the biggest trap. Everyone wants to be rich, and immediately, by today, expecting a 10% increase tomorrow. If you see a slow increase, switch to another code. If you don't make a profit in a week, withdraw immediately. Investing is not a one-night thing. It is a long game, for those who are persistent and have a plan. Crossmark 5. No clear strategy. I used to be like that too. Today I read an article calling for buying ETFs. Buy. Next week I see others talking about tech stocks. Sell ETFs. Buy tech. Next month I go back to crypto. And the result? My account goes in circles. No increase. No decrease. But it takes time. It loses motivation. Crossmark 6. Too much influence by emotions. Investing without a strategy is like setting sail without a map. All it takes is one big wave, and you're lost. Bad news. Backhand index pointing right. Fear. Sell. Market up. Backhand index pointing right. FOMO. By the top, someone's making a big profit. Backhand index pointing right. Compare. Change strategy. Every time you react emotionally, you lose the most important thing in investing: consistency. Push pin and then people give up, right before the magic happens. You know what's funny? Most people give up right before their account starts to really grow. They invest for 6 months, they see 5% profit. Oh crap, what kind of profit is this? They withdraw their money, switch to something else, then look back 6 months later. Their old account would have doubled if they had stayed the same. Growth takes time. and most of us don't have the patience to wait. White heavy checkmark. So how do you break out of that loop? I don't have a perfect answer, but I do have a true story. I, a completely normal person, broke out of those mistakes. I started with $1,000. I learned to be disciplined, put my emotions aside, and follow a plan. 3 years later, I'm not a millionaire, but I turned $1,000 into $4,200, and most importantly, I know how to do it again. I started with $1,000. How? If you think I have a grand plan, a super optimized investing system, or deep knowledge, then no. When I started, I had $1,000 and a fear that if I did nothing with it, I would spend it all, fear that I would spend my entire life working, but never escape the cycle of work, get paid, pay bills, run out of money, start over. I was tired of feeling that way. Direct hit. I set a single goal: make this $1,000 work. No matter how small, but real, not fast, not a lot, but stable, safe, and sustainable. Magnifying glass tilted left. I started with curiosity. I didn't study finance, no one in my family invested, but I started on YouTube, Google, Reddit, searching for one thing: what to do with $1,000 as a beginner. The result? Too much advice. Some said buy Bitcoin, some said save money, some said buy Apple stock. I was overwhelmed. But then I read an article. It said, most beginners give up because they make things too complicated. Start with something so simple that you can't fail. White heavy checkmark. So I chose ETFs. I looked into ETFs, a way to invest in a large group of companies, rather than picking individual companies. No need to research individual stocks, no need to guess the market, no need to turn on the computer every day. As I read, I realized, this is the one for me. Packaged. The first ETF I bought, VTI, that is, investing in the entire US stock market. I don't need to know which companies are up today, which companies are down. I just need to know, if the US develops, VTI develops. If the economy grows, my account does too. I buy the first 3 stocks. I save the rest for the next purchase. Alarm clock. I choose to invest periodically, not wait for the good times. Every month, I take out a portion of my income, no matter how small, to buy more VTI. If I have money in a month, I buy a lot. If I have a bad month, I buy less, but I don't skip any month. And the best thing? I set it to auto buy. No need to decide. No need to remember. No need to watch the price. Brain. I changed the way I think about money. Instead of asking, is the market up or down today? I asked myself, have I invested enough this month? How much do I have left to buy more? I stopped watching financial news every day. I stopped comparing myself to others. I started to see investing wasn't as stressful as I thought it would be. Chart decreasing. When the market dropped, I kept going. There were times when my account was down 5%, then 10%. I started to panic. I thought about pulling out, but I remembered what I had learned. When prices go down, you're buying on sale. And I have bought more. It was during the market drops that I kept investing. That's why my account grew so much when the market recovered. Receipt. I don't have to be good. I just have to be persistent. I'm not a genius. I don't have insider info. I don't beat the market. I only do one thing. I have a strategy, and I stick to it for 3 years. I don't stop halfway. I don't get caught up in trends. I don't try to find good deals. I invest like I brush my teeth, every day, at the same time, without thinking. Collision. And then 3 years later, the magic happens. When I reopened my account after a year and a half, I was shocked. The money has almost doubled. After 3 years, from $1,000, my account is now worth $4,200. Not a retirement number, but living proof. Backhand index pointing right. Investing small, investing right, still produces real results. Now you know my story, But I know what you really want is a how to. You want to know what app one use, how much do I invest, how do I allocate. Without further ado, here's the entire strategy one used, step by step. 1. Briefcase. I choose a friendly, easy to use investing platform. I didn't start with a complicated platform, no margin, no flashing charts, no casino feel. I chose a friendly investing app that can automatically invest on a monthly schedule. In the US, you can choose Fidelity, no ETF transaction fees, Vanguard, long-standing reputation, ideal for long-term investment, Charles Schwab, also very easy to use, supports periodic investment, or apps like M1 Finance, automated investment. Percentage allocation investment. I choose Fidelity because it is simple, easy to link to a bank account, and can buy fractional shares. 2. Shopping cart. I buy ETFs, not individual stocks. I don't try to guess which companies will increase. I don't pick individual stocks because I don't have time to analyze. I don't want to watch the price chart every day, and I can't stand the emotion when stocks drop sharply. I picked 3 ETFs and invested regularly. 1. VTI, all US stocks. 2. SCHD, dividend, growth ETF with regular cash. 3. VXUS, international markets, which helps me diversify globally. My allocation at the beginning, VTI, 60%. SCHD, 25%, VXUS, 15%. I leave 5 to 10% in cash to buy when the market drops sharply. 3. Calendar. I invest regularly, once a month, no need to think. I set up an auto transfer from my bank account to Fidelity every month, white heavy checkmark $300, on the day I get paid. Then, I set up auto invest according to the correct ratio of VTI/SCHD/VXUS. Results. I don't have to think every month. I'm not tempted by the market. I invest regularly, regardless of whether the market is green or red. The DCA, dollar cost averaging, effect helps me buy at a good average price and avoid going all in when the market is too high. For chart increasing, I track, but don't check every day. At first, I would open the app to check. Every time my account dropped $20, I was worried. Every time it increased $50, I was elated. Then I realized my emotions were driving me, not my strategy. So I set a rule: white heavy checkmark, only check my account at the end of each quarter. White heavy checkmark, record my balance, no emotions. White heavy checkmark, adjust if my income changes. This helps me stay mentally stable, not be affected by short-term fluctuations, focus on work and life. 5. Scissors. I reduce spending to prioritize investing. Investing $300 a month consistently is not easy at first. I didn't increase my income right away. Instead, I cut back on spending. Cut Netflix, go YouTube free, drink coffee at home, save $100 per month, buy secondhand gear, save $200 to $300/year, cancel expensive gym membership, switch to outdoor running. I don't live a miserable life. I just prioritize the future over the present, and I have no regrets. 6. Brain. I keep an investor, not a gambler mentality. I repeat to myself every month, I'm not investing to win in 3 days, I'm investing to win in 30 years. Every time the market drops, I buy more. Every time someone says, the market is going to crash, I stick to my strategy. I'm not better than anyone else, I'm just more consistent. I remember that moment very clearly. 3 years ago, I was a very different version of myself. I lived from paycheck to paycheck. I didn't have enough savings to feel secure. Every time my car broke down, my electric bill went up, or I needed to go to the doctor, I was scared. I always felt like one unexpected thing would ruin my life. I used to think, making money is easy, keeping it is hard, but in reality, I never gave my money a place to grow. Money with wings. Here's how I spent my money. Morning coffee every day. $5 x 30 equals $150 per month. Food delivery, $12 to $15 per meal, at least 3 times/week. Buying tech stuff because I wanted it, not because I needed it, every month. Nothing left after spending. I had no financial goals. I thought, well, I'll make up for it next month. But the next month was no different than the last month. Brain my mentality at that time, stressed every time I opened a bank account. Never felt like I had enough money, jealous when others talked about investing. Thought investing probably isn't for me. I found myself always being passive with money. And that brought with it all the other negative emotions in life. Chart increasing after 3 years, I'm a different person. It's not because I'm rich. It's not because I won a meme stock or a coin that increased 10x. But because I know I'm on the right track. Investment account from $1,000 over $4,200. I have a separate $2,000 emergency fund I can spend without feeling guilty. I know my money is working while I sleep, settling my mindset after investing regularly. I'm not afraid of the market anymore. I understand how it works. I don't panic when my account goes down. I see opportunities to buy more. I don't feel like I'm lacking. I see myself accumulating. I have a goal, reach $25,000 by 30. I feel more confident, not just with money, but with myself. House with garden investing changed my life. Before, I worked just to live. Now, I work with a clear goal, financial freedom. I no longer surf the internet to shop because I'm bored. I didn't need to prove anything to anyone with expensive items. I spent time reading financial books, learning about FIRE, financial independence, retire early, and I felt like I had the right to dream. I started dreaming about retiring early, living where I wanted, traveling without checking the room rate, doing the job I love, not for the money. If you're still watching, I just want to say one thing, thank you, because you're not just watching an investing video, you're taking the time to seriously think about your financial future, and that is the first step I took. Writing hand, if I could go back 3 years, I would tell myself, don't wait until you have it all figured out, don't wait until you have a lot of money, start today with a small amount and trust the process. Because it's the small steps you take consistently that add up to big results. Lightbulb: 5 biggest lessons I've learned in 3 years of investing. 1. Investing isn't a gamble, it's a skill that can be learned. The more you learn, the less scared you become. 2. You don't need a lot of money, you need time. Time discipline equals formula for success. 3. Emotions are your enemy number 1. Investing doesn't require you to be smart, it just requires you to be calm and patient. 4. Spending less doesn't make you miserable, it makes you freer. Saving is power, not sacrifice. 5. Action beats planning. You can read 100 books, but if you don't invest a penny, you're still standing still. Person raising hand: where should you start? Backhand index pointing right. Choose a simple investing platform. Backhand index pointing right. Start with $5, $10, or whatever you have. Backhand index pointing right. Choose an ETF you trust and invest every month. Backhand index pointing right. Set up automatic investing. No market watch. Backhand index pointing right. Be persistent, even when things seem slow. Speaking head: a message to you, the one who is worried, hesitant. I know that feeling. You are afraid of investing wrong. You are afraid of losing money. You are afraid of I am not smart enough for this. But trust me, you don't have to be perfect to start. You just have to start, and step by step, you will get better. You don't have to invest like Warren Buffett. You just have to invest like a person who is committed to yourself. Pushpin: and if you are still waiting for the perfect time, here is the truth: the perfect time does not exist, but the actions you take today will create a perfect future. The sooner you start, the more you give yourself time, the most powerful element in investing. Clapperboard conclusion: call to action, CTA. If my story has given you a glimmer of hope, a little motivation, or just a new idea, get started right after this video. Open an investment account, set up an automatic schedule, even if it's just $20 per month, do it. And if you found this video helpful, backhand index pointing right, like, Backhand index pointing right. Subscribe to money_VSQ, backhand index pointing right, and share this video with a friend, someone who is struggling with money like I was. You are not alone, and you can absolutely change your financial life.